build an elevator in LEGO Fortnite. I'm giving away gift cards every single day for V-Bucks on this channel to random supporters down in the comment section. All you have to do is a like, be a subscriber, and comment your epic username down below. That way I can go into the item shop and gift friends or you guys any skin you want. Yesterday, I dropped a video on how to build a train. That way you can move yourself extremely fast in this game. This actually brings me directly to my elevator. Now, in order to do this, you need a flat space of land, or you could build this in the sky as well. As far as materials go, I went with granite, although you guys can go with wood, and you guys are also going to need enough materials to build yourself 4 large tires, 4 balloons, and also a dynamic foundation. Outside of that, you don't need much else. So just a lot of wood, a lot of granite, and then flexwood rods, and blast powder to build those extra things. Now, as far as your foundation goes, again, you want a large squared off area in order to do this. You're gonna take that large foundation that you're able to build, the very thin one that's also very large, place that down, and then put 2 long foundations on the outside of this. That is all you need to do to build the overall base foundation of this jump pad or elevator. Now, once you do that, you're gonna take 2 small squares and put them on the edge of each side that you just placed those previous dynamic long foundations. This is gonna be where we kind of build our towers up to then be able to jump off of our building. Now, for the 2 towers, what you're gonna do is you're gonna stand on top of those small boxes that you placed, and you're just gonna build yourself up. Now, for myself, I did 100 floors up on each side. If you guys are on the base floor or on the grassland, you guys can go 150 up, 160 up. It really doesn't matter, but because I built mine in the sky and I'm already decently high up, it made it a little bit easier for me to build up. So I just did 100 up on each side, lined them up, and that is all you need to do for that. Now, on top of the towers, it gets a little bit tricky here. You want to make sure that you have a glider so you don't fall off, but place 1 more small foundation to the top of that tower, and now you're going to make it look like a T. So now you're going to place 2 of those longer foundations on the edge of each one of those. That way, again, it looks just like a T. Now, I struggled with this a little bit. I was actually having a hard time with it, which is why I recommend having that glider just in case you fall. So have this set up on either side. You guys can build a foundation down to jump onto and then break later on. But if you guys are able to just use that nudge tool, you guys may be able to do this a little bit easier than how I was doing it, as again, I struggled pretty hard. So 1 small rock, square foundation on top with 2 long ones on either side. It should look like a T on both sides for your jump pad. And once you have those T's, you're gonna go ahead and make sure that you don't break this elevator on the way up. So you're gonna place 4 tires at the top. These are gonna be very small tires. That's the best way to do it. And you just wanna have them connecting to that base that you originally built. That way, when this elevator goes up, it is not going to break on the already foundation that's there. You want to do this on both sides. That way the foundation, when it's going up in the air, is going to hit these tires and it's not going to break that off. Once you guys put these tires into this space, you guys are pretty much done with the top as far as the safety goes for this. But to make things a little bit better, you guys can take another one of those tiny square foundations and put it next to the tire. Again, this is going to go 2 spaces to the right or 2 spaces to the left, depending on what way you're looking, and then 1 space out. The reason why you're going to do this is actually going to allow you to connect a longer, thinner foundation to either one of these squares. That's going to build those jump pads at the top of this area for you to then jump off of your elevator and get to where you want to go, making travel so much easier. Now, again, I struggled with mine because the tires were in the way. If you guys need to build out to jump onto things, you guys can obviously do that. Again, I struggled, but you guys can learn from my mistake and then build a little bit further out to make it a lot easier for yourselves. But again, you're going to place those squares and then put the longer foundation to connect them on each side. And then from there, we're gonna step into the next part, which will end the entire top area. Now to finish off the jump pad on top, we're now just gonna grab 2 floors, the largest floors that you could put, and then just nudge them and connect them on that top area. You want the middle to be wide open and just connect them up there. But again, what this is gonna allow you to do is jump off of these to go in either direction or wherever you look to go in the game from jumping off of your elevator. Now we're gonna get a little bit complicated here, so just take your time. You could slow this video down if you need to. Place 4 small foundations on the middle of your platform and then put the dynamic foundation directly over the middle of it. It should look exactly like I have it. Next, you're gonna need the castle floor 3 in order to do this. The reason why is it's smaller. It allows for 6 squares on each side, which is extremely, extremely nice. If you guys don't have the castle thin floor 3, you guys are going to have to go ahead and build in the Dry Valley biome to unlock that in the game. And then you guys are gonna take the thin castle wall 5 or the long one and put that on both ends of it. Again, this is gonna create like a U connected to your giant foundation tower that you previously built. And again, you're gonna do that on both sides of your dynamic foundation. Next up, we just wanna close it. So we're gonna grab that exact same long dynamic or that long thin floor, and we're gonna connect it on the bottom on both sides. This will ensure that even if your thrusters are off by an inch, it's not going to leave that area and it'll just brush up on those thin layers. So make sure that those are lined up completely, that way that it's fully connected and you don't have to worry about this breaking or shifting in different areas on the map. The last thing you want to do is you want to grab this specific floor that I'm going to place down here with this middle design. It's small enough that you're able to still put those balloons on this platform. If you select a middle floor that's too large, it won't allow you to place balloons. Next up, we want to place our balloons and our thrusters. Now, if you guys are going to use small tires on the bottom to ensure that it doesn't break, you guys are going to have to put these stops here. But this can be done with large tires as well if you have the equipment for it. So, you want to take those thrusters and put those on those connecting beams that you guys placed. You don't want this to be on the dynamic foundation. You want this to be on the outside of the dynamic foundation. Now, what I found was an issue for me was that on one side, it didn't line up properly compared to the other. This is completely fine because, like I said, we have it made so that it won't break when going in the air, thanks to this thing connecting it on both sides. So, you guys can have it hang off by a centimeter or by a millimeter on that one side. That's not going to be a problem. You just don't want them to be hanging all the way off on both sides, because that way it'll be crooked and you may not get to the top the way that you would like to. So connect these, even if they're off by a little bit, that's going to be just fine. Now, once you guys are done this and you guys have the thrusters on both ends, now we want to place those tires at the bottom. Now, I went with large tires, but if you guys don't have the equipment for it, you guys can obviously do small tires. This is going to make sure that when this goes to the ground, it's not going to break. So do 4 large tires. You just want 1 in each corner to once again ensure that it bounces off the floor rather than crashing straight through it. That'll break your dynamic foundation, which will break that elevator, which will get rid of all of the materials that you built, because as we know, any balloons, thrusters, and tires, you don't get those materials back. So put those tires underneath of it, and then you could break that middle foundation that you guys placed to lower this straight to the ground. Once you guys are done doing this, we're now going to put our 4 balloons on there, and that is just about going to wrap this up. Put those 4 balloons on those blue circles that are on there, set down your activation switch, get rid of those placeholders if you did small wheels at the bottom, and now when you guys press on that, we're good to go. So now you guys can see I have mine set up. I press on that elevator button and it lifts me directly to the top. Now, because I did mine 100 floors up and you guys may do 150, you may have to press on this more than once. When you guys get to the top, jump off. You guys can press the activation switch or not, it really doesn't matter. When you guys are up here, you can now jump off, do the flying glitch, which is using your pickaxe to swing and then pulling out your glider immediately afterwards and repeating that process over and over again. That'll get you further distances. It won't mess with your stamina too much and it'll essentially be like you're flying. But now, like you guys see, my dynamic foundation or my elevator fell straight to the ground and no damage done. So everything works from our end, demonstrated perfectly for you guys. Build this exactly like I have it, replay the video, slow the video down, and make sure it looks exactly like mine. That way yours doesn't break in the game or mess up before we get new equipment and new flying materials in our game.